All right, in today's video, we're going to talk about the domain of physical dominance. We're going to talk about what that is, explain kind of our philosophy on why it's maybe the most important one, at least the starting point one for sure, of the domains, and why, like how do you go about doing it? Like what really are we talking about for physical dominance, and what are some programs you can do, and just kind of what our philosophy in the mastermind is. So let's go ahead and start off with physical dominance. What is physical dominance? So it doesn't mean being the biggest guy in the world. It just means be physically dominant for yourself. I'm going to start off with a basic philosophy, kind of how I image this in my head. So you're a CEO. You become the CEO of your own life. And so if we're just like a board of directors, you're hanging out in a room, and there's two CEOs up front. I know there would be two, but let's say one of them up front is Bill Gates, and the other one is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Let's say besides just take all their money out of play and just take those two into account, okay? And so they're both the CEOs. And so if you looked at the two of those, if you take out everything else, they're equal across the board, people would naturally gravitate towards Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? Because the physical dominance he has, not just being the biggest, baddest dude in the world, but he's just the fit. We could take him out of there and maybe put like a Ryan Reynolds in, who's not like the biggest, baddest guy, but pretty fit, right? So these are people that are like, you want to see their physical dominant compared to like a Bill Gates, who's like decrepit, falling apart, right? So that's kind of the difference between the two there. Even like Mark Zuckerberg would be way better example than somebody like Bill Gates, who Mark Zuckerberg trains for, like, I think he does BJJ or some type of fighting. But you can tell he's just more physically fit than somebody like Bill Gates. That would be more physically dominant presence than that. And that's kind of how we first frame this. Is like, first you want to make sure that you are the CEO of your own life. You have this one body, a God-given body that you can do miracles with. You can create it and train it and do whatever you want to it. No matter what your history of health and stuff is, you could start right now and turn it into whatever body you want it to look like, which is really, really cool, really empowering, okay? So that's one of the reasons why we think it's one of the first things is you need to be dominant for yourself. You need to be dominant for your family. You need to be dominant for your business in a physical dominant way. Again, it's not about physical size. Dominance just means like you're the most dominant version of yourself you can be. The second component that probably maybe should be the first component, but the idea is like long-term health is one of the most important things you can take care of. Because if you can take care of your health from now, and like, let's say, your current health standards are going to get you to live to 75. But you dial in your health, you get everything right, and now from 75 to 100. It's 25 extra years you get on this earth. That's 25 extra years to do so many things, from like being able to have a better adventure-driven life, more time with your family, especially grandkids growing up, maybe to continue in business, continue to grow, just the amount of knowledge you can gain in 25 years from reading and that kind of stuff. You just get more lifespan, and there's nothing probably more important than that, having a longer lifespan, because the most important thing in our mastermind program is doing good work over a long period of time. And so the more time you get to do good work, the higher version of yourself you're going to become. So take care of yourself now so that you can live for the longest longevity. We know there's so many factors in there that you can't control, from car accidents to cancers and things of that nature, but we control the controllables, control it while you can control it. We can't control everything, but control we can control, because that's going to give it a better chance. So we think that's one reason, is you want to live longer. Another reason is energy levels. If you can get your energy to a proper level and move and function at a high level, you're going to be able to do more work, better work, more focused work. You're going to be able to work from, when I say work, this is like all aspects of life. I'm not just saying just business, but you're going to be able to work from the time you wake up at 5 a.m. until you go to bed at maybe 9 p.m., right? And so meaning, what I mean by that, it's like, okay, I can get up and I have the energy to do my reading and my journaling and stuff I need to do in the morning. Then I have energy to get a workout in. I have energy to work from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock, just having lunches. But other than that, I'm pretty focused. I have energy to do that. Then after work, I'm able to go spend time with my kids. I'm able to go do another workout. I'm able to have this energy until I go to bed at night. And that energy is expanding. And the more energy you have every day, and you multiply that over a lifetime, just the more things you're going to be able to accomplish, the more domains you're going to be able to tackle and be great at, because you're not exhausted from just sitting at the desk all day long. And so that's another important reason why. So it's the idea of like, okay, we want to be physically dominant. We want to show our dominant presence, but we also want to take care of our longevity of health so that we can have more time to master all the things in life, and then also have the energy to master them on a day-to-day basis. So that's why it's kind of like that top tier one for us, because if you're lacking in your health, it's going to affect all other domains. I think all domains interconnect in many ways, but this is probably the one domain that interconnects across the board for everything. Is if you're weak in this area, especially energy-wise, it's going to affect all the other domains and your ability to be able to focus on them and get the maximum part you can out of them. So this is me talking to you guys from the fact that I come from like not being the healthiest guy. Over my life, I have owned multiple gyms. I'm a former football player. You would think like just fitness is what I do. And I love fitness. I love everything about fitness, but it's been a hard journey for me. Fitness has probably never been the hard journey. It's just been the nutrition part of it. I really struggled. I'm a stress eater, and I've used that as an excuse most of my life. And it's one of those things where I've had to continue to work on them. Right now, I'm working hard on my own body, on things, because I need to continue to improve that part of my life and the energy I can get from it. So I'm not coming from here as that super fit guy that's been fit his whole life and blah, 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 blah. No, I've struggled throughout weight. I've gone all the way up to 291 pounds. The weight I kind of hover around that I feel really good and I feel lean at is about 220. And so the idea is like everybody has their different set points and stuff in life, and we'll talk about a little bit more what we think that you should be at. But the idea is that's why physical dominance is important in the domains of the 10 domains of the mastermind. Because if you don't have the energy and you don't have the presence and stuff, it's going to just decrease the value what you're going to get out of this life, not value, what you're going to get out of this life and how to maximize the standard of living, okay? So let's get into the nitty gritty of it. That's kind of like the overall philosophy. Now let's get in the nitty gritty a little bit. So let's go ahead and start out with like what is an ideal body for each person. So again, this is what my expertise really is growing up. So I have a bachelor's in exercise science. I've owned multiple gyms, helped people lose tons and tons of weight, gain muscle, get jacked, that kind of stuff. So there's so many different categories. We kind of like paint broad strokes in certain ways. What's like the bare minimum that you should have, and like from there, everybody can go to whatever level they want to do. So I'm not asking anybody in this mastermind. I'm not expecting anybody to be like, okay, I'm all of a sudden going to be a professional bodybuilder now because that's one of the 10 domains. No, it's keeping a physical health that you can maintain at that point consistently with honestly little effort. We call it minimum effective dose, and making sure that you still look good physically, you feel good physically, you have the energy. So for most men, we would say pretty much all men need to probably be about 15% of body fat or less, okay? So that'd be, I think 10% is probably as low as I want somebody to go, because at 10%, you have to be pretty focused to maintain 10%. Like you have to be dialed in all the time. And I don't think that with the whole aspect of like we want a great life across all 10 domains, I think that if you try to go to like 10% body fat, you might be overly focused in one area because you got to do a lot of work to get there, that one of the other domains are going to sacrifice, like family's going to sacrifice, maybe work has to sacrifice or something of that nature. So you got to be kind of smart with that. So like that's why we look, the sweet spot's like 13 to 15%. So how do you figure out what your body fat percentage is? A lot of calculations out there. Easiest thing is almost every community now has an in-body scanner that you can just go type in in-body scan, and you'll find some gym around the area. You'll find some healthcare place that has an in-body scanner, and then you can go pay. They're not that expensive, like $80 to $100 depending on the place. Pay for that, and they'll give you an actual scan of what your current body fat percentage is. So kind of take that as your initial gauge. Okay, now I have, let's say you're 20%. I'm at 20% body fat. And they recommend, in our mastermind program, my goal would be to help you guys optimize your life first to get the physical health in control. And I'm not saying we're gonna go all out just for physical health, but let's get the habits in place to be able to get that because 5% body fat, if done like intelligently and not like overly focused on it, take maybe 6 months to get rid of. Probably not even that long, honestly, but you could, let's just give it a longer time frame, 6 months to get rid of. So we're gonna put good habits in place to be able to get rid of that weight. But we want that to be an important part of the mastermind program because it does help you, like most mastermind programs, just gonna talk about business, but that impacts business. If you're in good health, you're gonna be naturally better in your business. So what are the things that can help you get to 15% body fat? And inside of our program, we're gonna have playbooks for each category and kind of our list of the different things that you need, that we recommend. Here's the categories we recommend for our program. So there's gonna be nutrition, fitness, environment, lifestyle, and sleep are the main movers of your overall health. So let's go through each one individually and give you ideas of what each one is, what we kind of consider the best. I'm not gonna go through each like nutrition. I'm not gonna go through our whole nutrition plan that we recommend and how to do that. That's not what this video is about. It's to give you an overview of what are the things in the different 10 domains that you should be doing to accomplish this if you're in the mastermind program or if you're just doing this in your own, at home in your life. These are things you need to do. So for nutrition, we try to keep it pretty simple. Calories in versus calories out do matter in certain ways, but it's not the most important equation. What we kind of tell almost all of our males is we're going to be 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. That's the number one metric, the macro we're gonna focus on the most, okay? So get that 1 gram per pound of body weight, get that protein in your system. So when you're building out your meal plan for the day or the week, you're gonna really focus on protein first. And then from there, and that's gonna be probably 40% of your diet is going to be protein, 35 to 40% of your diet is going to be protein. And then we're going to just fill in the cracks with carbs and fats. I don't really care which one's higher or lower. It matters on what your styles are. It matters on the week. Some weeks I might be higher on carbs and other weeks higher on fats. It doesn't overly matter, especially for long-term health. It doesn't overly matter in that category. From there, so we got the 1 gram per pound of protein. And then from there, the next thing is eating clean foods. So doing your best to eat fruits and vegetables as the other things, right? Trying to get those in as much as possible. Healthy cheeses, dairy, especially like Greek yogurt can be good. Cottage cheese can be good as well in the dairy category. Meats, obviously, where we're getting a lot of our protein from, but protein shakes are all right as well. I'm not gonna go too much more into the nutrition category, but it's a huge video by itself. I'm gonna have to do one of those by itself on how we design our nutrition program. And again, all of our playbooks here in the mastermind program are just tools for you to utilize. If you're somebody that like, hey, Trevor, this is your program, that's great, but I would rather just eat carnivore. Cool, like do it. Like I don't really care which diet you choose. I'm from the fitness industry. I have expertise in this, but like I've seen people lose on the carnivore diet, the keto diet. I've seen people lose on a high carb diet, like doing marathons and stuff. Like it doesn't really matter. It matters on what you can follow through for yourself. So we're not like, none of the playbooks in any of the categories do we ever like, hey, you have to follow this playbook. I just want to give you tools like, hey, if you don't know what to do here, here's our playbook for it. Try the playbook, see how you do. Be committed to following through the playbook and you'll achieve it. So like with nutrition, it's like, it doesn't really matter what plan you follow, it's what plan you can follow consistently for a long enough period of time. You need to give me 6 months of focus on this plan and then we can figure out if that's the right plan for you. You need to really be dedicated to that going forward, right? So nutrition is one of the categories. Fitness. So for fitness, there's so much in the category of fitness. Kind of the way we think about it, especially for busy entrepreneurs, it's more about gaining muscle mass than anything. Obviously you can have your own, I love to run, I love to do these things, great. But in our program, it's more like, hey, I think, to create physical dominance, you just need to get more muscle mass. More muscle mass you get, you burn more calories, pair together good nutrition, you're gonna naturally lose weight, you're gonna have more muscle mass on your body that's gonna help you have longer longevity, and you're just gonna look better, right? You're gonna look jacked, and that's kind of the goal. So here's kind of the 3 different types of programs that we recommend. Maybe a bodybuilding style of program. 2 of my favorites are Thunder Bros by Dave Lipson and Functional Bodybuilding by Marcus Philly. Those are great at-home ones. You can do it in your garage gym. If you have a garage gym, you can take them to a local gym and do them there. So they're pretty awesome to be able at-home programs. So that's more like if you want to get like swole, right? You want to get big. Those programs are, hour and a half a day. So there are going to be times when you maybe need to be a little bit more dedicated to your fitness and you're like, you want to move that needle a little bit more. Those would be good programs for that. Then there's a powerlifting style program, like a juggernaut program. Westside barbell programs are pretty good as well. So powerlifting programs are very specific to gaining strength. I do think we need to have good strength. So if you're somebody that's relatively weak, I would want that more to start out with than honestly getting focused on bodybuilding, because I think power strength obviously makes you stronger, but I think it gets rid of a lot of injuries throughout the body, especially lower back injuries. People have that from sitting down all the time. Those programs develop the strongest lower backs possible, right? You get a strong chest, and it's just awesome to be strong. So there's a couple of programs from there, and then I think CrossFit programs are great too. Specifically, like I love Pat Sherwood's CrossFit Linchpin, which is an online program, because you can do it anywhere. We have a garage gym, we can do it in our garage gym, but local CrossFits are great too. If you can just go join a local CrossFit, a local like Game Changer Performance. So those are like the gym that we created in Mundelein, Illinois, the last one we have left. And so if you're in that area, that's a great gym to go check out. But there's a lot of gyms like that. Like my buddies, if you ever need recommendation for a gym and you don't own a gym yourself, we have tons of gyms that I have relationships with that we can get you into to get you jacked and swole, right? But there's a lot of those type of programs, because the nice thing about CrossFit is it has strength and it has conditioning, so it's a good combination of the two. But it really depends on the time. It has a time commitment of about an hour. Bodybuilding program is about an hour and a half. Powerlifting program depends, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what you're working on. So they're all about the same amount of time. From there, so fitness is really like what your cup of tea is, but my main philosophy with fitness is get more muscle, put on some mass and a little bit of strength. or at least a decent amount of strength, honestly. Number 3 is going to be environment. So what's the environment like that you live in? This one you can go down some pretty deep rabbit holes, but one of the things is like making sure that you don't have toxic chemicals in the house, fragrances, things that can affect your body in different ways hormonally, making sure that you're not using cleaners that have there's a company called EWG. You can get an app from them, and it's like environmental working group, and it goes through all products from hair products to cleaning products and stuff, and tells you what's like the least toxic things. I think that's a great thing to go through. But what's the environment that you live in? What are the things that could be affecting you? Is the house that you live in so dark that you never have energy because there's no light coming into the house? Do you not get sun throughout the day? Do you need to get some more sun in your things? So environment is another category. It's kind of like environment's one that people ignore a lot. But the cool thing about environment is once you kind of put those habits in place, so the habits would be like the right shampoos, right conditioners, using the right cleaning stuff. That stuff really adds up over a long time because you don't have to think about those anymore, and it's adding value over time. Okay. Other things that I've got that you can go down the rabbit hole too of are things like EMF waves, and being able to not use too much like blue light, things of that nature that you can be able to help you sleep better and negatively impact that. So I think those can sometimes be rabbit holes that are too far down, but like I don't think they're too bad either. I just think you have to have a happy balance between what you're doing there. Again, we have playbooks and stuff for that. Lifestyle. So lifestyle is like how have you optimize your life to be just healthier? Do you get outside and go for short walks every day? Do you, on the weekends, where do you and your family go? What do you guys do for hobbies? What are the things that get you moving? What's the NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis stuff that's going on in your day? And so I think lifestyle is one of those things you can impact a lot. You just got to talk to your spouse about that and create a lifestyle where you guys go out and maybe hike or bike, or if you live in a city, getting out to the park once in a while, or joining hobby clubs like pickleball clubs or racquetball clubs, things like that. Find lifestyle things that can help get your movement improved over time. Even things like standing desk can make a difference. I don't want to use a standing desk all the time, but they become valuable for different parts of the day. Like, so sometimes I'll work out in the other room where I can be standing, and then most of the time I'm working at my desk because I have a lot of computer things I need to do. But being able to balance those things are important. And then the last one is sleep. So sleep is kind of like an entrepreneur curse because like we don't like to do it because it's, if I sleep, then I'm not getting enough work done. If I only slept 4 hours a night or 5 hours a night, I'd get so much more work done. But it's actually reversed on that. It's like, yes, you'll have more time to get work done, but your focus will degrade over time and you'll get less work done, especially less quality work. And so it's one of those things that you want to be able to optimize your sleep. How do you get in bed with 9 hours available sleep, right? We actually start off with trying to people get 7 hours in bed. The dream is 9 hours in bed, and that way you just get more sleep. But you got to work through those gradients of time. Maybe if you have young kids, you probably aren't going to get as much sleep as you'd like. But as the kids are out of house and you're empty nesters, you might be able to get more sleep. So it's being able to like figure out a good sleep schedule, figuring out a clean environment to sleep in, which means like dark lights in your room. No TV in the room, but at least not having TV on at night. It's not like a big deal. Like we have a TV in our bedroom. We just don't sleep with the TV or go to sleep with the TV on, but we do have it there as an extra place to watch TV if we have many people in the house. So figuring out the right environment to sleep in is important as well. Again, we have a guide for that too to help you kind of optimize that. But those are choices you have to make. So when you put these 5 things together, each one by itself might not make a huge impact. Maybe the nutrition and fitness can make a bigger impact than the other ones. But when you stack all 5 together, it makes a humongous impact in your life, especially when you start stacking that together over years and years and years. Your health is just going to increase as you get older, right? So it's awesome. Like in our gyms, we work with clients that like when they start with us at like 60, right? And then all of a sudden, or let's say 55, they start with us at 55, and then they turn 60, 65 years old, and you didn't have a clue they even aged during that time because they've just had these good habits in place. And maybe they didn't get super lean, but they never gained any weight during the time they're with us. They look younger and younger over time. They don't look like they're 60, 65 years old. And so if we start those habits at younger ages and just keep those in place forever, imagine as everybody else is aging around you, you're going to keep that aging down. So for a lot of you guys that we work with, you're already fitness business owners, so this is something that you this is your life, and so this stuff doesn't mean that much to you, but we do work with other people outside of fitness or in different aspects of fitness, like bar fitness, or they're in yoga, so they don't do maybe stuff with nutrition. We have people that are just in strength training and they don't do much with nutrition. So these different things can help you to be able to maximize your life in different categories. So physical dominance is an important one for us. There's so many categories that go into it. It's such a big topic. If you're part of our mastermind, we're going to have different guides and stuff to be able to help you optimize what's the part that you need the most help with. We'll help coach you up in those areas. And we have experts all around that can help you with those and get you the right tools that you need. So hope this was beneficial. Hope this made a lot of sense to you. Again, this is really looking from the entrepreneur perspective, somebody that should be physical healthy for energy, for long-term health, and also to be able to be physically dominant. But this is not for that person that wants to I want to go above and beyond. I want to become a bodybuilder, a power lifter. I want to dedicate 10 hours a week to this. That's not really what we're looking at. We're looking at somebody, how do we get minimal effective dose to get these results so we can still focus on the different domains in life. If you're a male entrepreneur and you want to become the CEO of your own life, and you want to join a mastermind group of guys that are moving their life forward, that are focused on quarterly goals to move their life forward step by step by step, stacking these things together, and after the end of the year, you're like, oh man, I moved my life forward a lot. Our program's for you, especially if it's a physical health issue they have. We have experts all over the place for physical health, and we can help guide you along the journey of being a great entrepreneur, but with other aspects of your life. If you're interested in that, send us a DM, contact us however you can. We'd love to be able to help out. Everybody else, have a great day.